some very old leases out there floating around. Do you know what a compliant lease is? You know, when you're an owner operator and you're checking out different carriers that you might possibly want to lease your truck on with, run under their authority, you really need to take the time and review that lease thoroughly, or have an attorney who's familiar with transportation law, code of federal regulations and such, or spend $15 and join OOIDA and send a lease to their compliance department, and their people will review a lease for you and tell you whether it's compliant with the code of federal regulations and fulfills all the requirements that FMCSA has put forth. You know, believe it or not, there's still some very old leases out there floating around. Nowadays, there are things as truth in leasing laws. You know, for example, some of the older leases might say that you get paid whenever that carrier gets paid, even though today there's actual federal law that they have to pay you within 15 days. So you really need to pay attention to these leases and know what you're getting into before you get into it. These truth in leasing laws are there for a reason, because a lot of these carriers in days past, let's say they were quite a few of them that was on the shady side when it come to keeping their insurances current, working within the limits of the Code of Federal Regulations, being fair and paying you what they say they're going to pay you. These are all different things that you need to think about, and you need to understand that lease in its entirety. So take the time, review the lease. I've got a model lease from OOIDA a year or so ago, and I've checked recently and it's still very current. So I'm going to put a link to that model lease in the description, and you guys can download it and, you know, compare this model lease. This is a fully compliant lease. It meets all the standards that are required. Meets all the FMCSA regulations. It meets all the CFR. This is everything that you need to have in a lease. So read over it closely, compare it to the lease that you have with your carrier, or a lease that you're considering entering with a carrier. And, you know, just know what you're getting into before you get into it, because it can save you a whole lot of headaches and a whole lot of money down the road. You know, you hear horror stories all the time from people who aren't getting paid. You know, they're out running for 3 weeks and the carrier's not paying them. There's steps that you can take to avert that, but you need to know what you can and cannot do, and you need to know what leverage you can apply. I can't emphasize enough. Review things before you get into it and make sure that you understand. You know, I've been burned before, and you'll work your ass off sometimes trying to go back and undo things that, if you would have taken the time to read it and understand it, you would have never agreed to it in the beginning. So take your time, look over this model lease, make sure you understand it. Feel free to ask questions, and take care of yourself, man. You know, you guys be safe. Watch your bottom line. I'll see you on the road. See you, bye.